Hello, everybody. It is your boy once again, Sam, aka the train, mother in Maine. My sandals and blandles and jandals. So it's August 11th. My last video was on the 22nd of July. So you actually are getting what I promised, a couple of videos a month or every few weeks or one a month. I say a lot of things. I might not stick to my upload schedule, but there is a schedule and I do upload. So no one's really complained about that, so we're gonna roll with it. So yeah, anyways, been 3 whatever weeks since I uploaded on the new layout. Made a lot of progress. Gonna show you what the dealio is-io. This shouldn't be too long of a video. That's another thing I always promise. Basically, I don't keep my promises to you guys, but I still do my thing. This shouldn't be that long of a video, but as you can see, I believe last time I just got the bench work up, which are the shelf brackets and the wood, the good wood. So I've got my wood base in there all nice, as you can see. Just, decently thick hardwood. It's all the same across. It's pretty good stuff. Got my this is 2-inch foam, 2-inch pink foam base all the way across. So these are 2 feet by 8 feet tables. This is the same thing. So what I had to do was I got a 4x8 sheet of this foam, cut it in half, and it fit perfectly. So it's kind of an eye conundrum because of my backdrop, which I'll get to in a second. So just on this section, you could see 2 feet by 8 feet. Just sliced into it after I traced, did a couple of rough tracings. So that's why there's lines still there. So that is, you can see what I'm talking about. And then the same thing over here, you can see, well, you can't see behind it, but you can see what I'm talking about. So that's one 4x8 sheet cut in half. And then the little middle island, I had to trace and put that in. It fits pretty damn well. Got a couple spots to touch up. And then same thing over here. So this is where the tables are split. So I still have to fill that in, which I'll probably do tonight. After this, it'll take 10 seconds. So the fascia is complete as well. I'm not going to keep it this color. I will be painting it. I'm thinking a brown, probably somewhat close to the shade, maybe a little bit darker, or black, both flat, no matte or shine or anything. The fascia is in. The reason for the drywall putty, I just did my first coat. I got to do one more. Make it flat and flush at the seams, sand it down so when I paint it, it'll match. Same thing in the corner, so you'll see. That's what I saw everybody else doing, and it seems to work. I just got to do a little bit more. I got them really, really close together, but they're still just like the tiniest of gaps. So that's the easiest way to do it. I'm not going to be doing it on these seams. I'll tell you why in a second. And then same thing over here. So I did not have to do it in this back corner. And then the backdrop, this is all masonite. I got a 4x8 sheet and that was more than enough. So what I did was I cut the masonite hardboard into 8-foot sections, and they're 8 inches tall. So I got, 10 and change, 8-foot, 8-inch tall strips, cut them to length for the fascia, cut them to length for the side, and then cut them to length for the backdrop. And they are all, I still have some left, probably one full strip of 8-inch and then another 6-inch strip. There was that little extra that couldn't be 8 inches tall. So I did have some left over, which may come in handy in the future. So backdrops, again, I wanted it to, as you can see, I did the curved fascia here this time, which I'm a big fan of. Looks very clean. It gives me a little bit more space instead of just the butting up corner. And I wanted the backdrop to match it. I didn't want it to be round and then have a pointy backdrop. I thought that would kind of, it flows better to the eye, I think. I love the look of it. It looks clean. So there's 3 pieces to the backdrop. So this is glued in. This is not going anywhere. And then, the track plan will come through the holes. Like I said, I want it to look like a point-to-point, not just a couple big loops. So just like on the old layout, but accessible this time so I can clean it and avoid any hidden derailments. This is 2 inches and 2¼ inches of wasted space technically, but I don't really care, of a channel so I can get to all my derailments and clean that track. But it's not a loop-de-loop, which I think is extraordinarily unrealistic. People do it all the time. My first layout was like that. I have no problem with it if that's what you want to do, but that's not what I want to do. And then same thing back here, 2¼ inches of hidden channel. So, you know, it is pretend, it's not real life. So when you're looking at the layout, you know, your viewpoint will start here, extend over to there. And, you know, if you happen to, because this will all be, I think the town scene, Main Street kind of whatever is going to go all here again. And then I think the mine and the lumber mill are going to go back over here. So it's going to be very similar to the old layout, just I think a lot more practical. But again, if you happen to look back here, you know, you'll see where the trains come from, which it is what it is. A lot of people have staging yards and other stuff, helixes that are not realistic, but this is how I choose to do it. So, yeah, so again, this piece is glued in as well. That piece is glued in. These fascias are all going to stay, but when the problem with the last layout is it was modular, but I didn't plan ahead for pulling it apart. So when I pulled it apart to sell it, I already knew I was going to have that problem, which is 90% of the reason why I wanted to sell it, because I didn't want to move and then have all that chaos. I built it to be pulled apart, but didn't plan on top for it to be pulled apart, so it was chaos. So when I go to move, which I will be, take out this screw and that screw, can keep this piece of fascia to put back in. Everything else from here over is permanent. Everything from here over is permanent. I take off this piece of fascia, and then this backdrop, I still have to secure these in place, but this is glued in. This is not. I made a nice wedge with a little bracket. So this piece of backdrop, even after I paint it, from here all the way to here, like I said, I just have to secure them together with something that'll hold temporarily, but it'll come apart. I have a plan. This piece of backdrop will be removable. So as you can see, they line up perfectly. I just have to, just about perfectly. Because I just have to secure them. It'll be fine. No big deal. So this is permanent, temporary, permanent. So when I go to move, the tables will pull apart right here. Take out this, take out that, and I got two 2-foot by 8-foot sections to carry out with no legs. Nothing. I could lay them flat, just as you see. Lay them flat in my truck or my U-Haul, whatever I use. Get to my new spot. Put up the shelf brackets, mount them again, reconnect that piece, reconnect the piece above it, and I'm back in business in probably an hour. It'll probably take me an hour to take it down and an hour to set it up. And I'm including in taking it out and bringing it back in that time. So the hardest part will be unscrewing 6 screws. And then I guess when I move, I'll have to put the shelf brackets back up, you know, level, and then just literally line them up perfectly, and the tables go right back on top. And as you can see, it's super secure. It's not going anywhere. It's always hard. I know I do this a lot, and you can't tell how much weight I'm putting on it, but you know, I weigh about 200 pounds, and putting all my arm strength down, and it's not even moving. You know, I am. So yeah, fascia, backdrop, all that. Like I said, next steps to paint it. Ooh, I farted. I do believe on this layout, I'm not going to do a double track main. Reason being, and I know people can hate on me, whatever they want. Last time I did the double track main and then had the mining yard that was over here, the lumber mill yard that was over here, and then the whole town scene, the crossovers, it was just too much. And I'll start with ballasting. It was just a pain in the arse for all my British fans out there. So you have your ballasting here, and then you got the secondary main right next to it, ballasting in between. Gave it a nice look, but it was too much time ballasting, too much painstaking. Had to clean twice the amount of track. Had to have all those extra turnouts and crossovers. And you know, besides like the super mainline class ones, you know, a lot of main lines or not necessarily branch lines, but secondaries or districts are single track, and they'll have passing sidings, which I do plan to put a nice passing siding. So it's still very prototypical of most, you know, short lines, class 3s, class 2s, whatever you want to call it. Class 1s too. I know I'm saying everything in weird order, but very prototypical to have single track. On top of it, I found, I know, because I did get very far with Scenics, as you saw, close to being done besides fine details. When I was running, I was only running one train. Whatever my, you know, just constant circling train was. And then if I was switching, I was using the same train that would be running anyway, you know, loading up, you know, 20 cars, switching out my industries, and then running that train, or just running the train that was sitting there. So I'm not really missing much. Now, granted, this is my 4th layout. My other 3 all had double track. So, you know, in a few months when I get further down the road, maybe I'll miss it. And at that point, well, I guess I'm SOL, because it'll be a lot harder to put in a double track at that point. But I don't think I will miss it. So we will see what happens. I said it was going to be a short video, and it's coming up on 12 minutes, but I guess that's my problem. So again, I did go all Kato, and it is Kato, not Kato. Don't let people say Kato, Kato, however you say it. It's Kato. Again, it's Kato, not Kato. Doesn't matter if you're in America or Taiwan or Japan. It's Kato. 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 Say it with me. Kato track. All Kato track. This is just it's an old piece of Bachmann I'm using as my power terminal until I get my DCC system hooked up. So I'm jumping all over the place. I don't really care. That's the theme. You're used to that. So I got my single loop, my main line set up. So like I said, I'm going to do the mine scene again down here. Have it coming out of a tunnel portal. Mine scene, blend into the logging scene, have the hill gradually end, and then probably have, you know, the town, industrial, main street, all that, come down here and have it disappear behind the buildings. So like I said, in essence, it's going to be very similar track plan and industrial look, theme, all that to the old layout, but now with experience, I'm gonna paint my rocks a little better, do a little less scenery of certain kinds and a little more respective to the areas. And, you know, with this new track, I know exactly what I hated about my track work on the old layout. It's going to be a lot more fulfilling and fun. And I'm working so fast, it's stupid. So go watch my first 2 layouts being built and you'll see how long it took me to get to this point. The only reason there's a gap in the videos for 3 weeks is because I wasn't motivated to make a video, but the layout has looked like this since, you know, like before the 1st of August. So, and on top of it, I have, you know, a ton of all the same buildings. I'm going to be using Easy to put them down, figure out a track plan. Then a lot of the Scenics, which I already have, I'm going to have to buy some more because, you know, I used a good amount on the old layout, but I know what I want it to look like. I know the techniques I'm going to use. They're fine-tuned. They're better because I've practiced them and used them so much. I mean, I just, you know, got to fine-tune things. So I very well tidied and cleaned up. There's some extra tracks sitting here. So one issue that I did run into, and I'm just going to hold on to it, I think. If I get far enough along, maybe I'll sell some of it because I have a ton. I probably, don't tell Mrs. Train Main, but probably spent about $400 to $600 on brand new Kato track. I mean, I had no choice. And I bought enough, well, I bought enough and then some to do a double loop. I had a double loop with the crossover already set up, took the double track down. So I have an abundance of Kato track. I'll probably sell everything that's still in the package. So if any of you are interested in buying some N-scale Kato track still in the box, you know, if you see this on the Facebook groups, just message me, or if you're on here, you know, message me and I'll shoot you my email. But yeah, nice and organized. Going to start doing some foam work. So I don't know. I'm kind of ranting. You see how far we've come again. Good thing is, when I do go to take this layout apart, when we move, and we've been actively looking to move for about a year. We knew we were going to, but the housing market's so screwed up right now still. Inventory's coming back a bit, but when we do go to move, if I take this apart and it works how I'm gonna plan it, so I guess I can go over that too. So right here, so this is being removed, this is being removed, the piece that'll go here is being removed, and this is removed. So 4 pieces, 2 pieces of fascia, 2 pieces of foam. They'll all be secured permanently, but temporarily. So take the tables, put them up again at the new place, connect it. At that point, granted, I should hopefully have enough room. You know, I would have liked to go all the way out to here, but I just didn't want to go crazy beyond, because when we do move, I want to make sure this is all, you know, but when we do end up moving, it'll all hopefully work in my favor for getting a bigger layout. So I don't remember where I was going with that, but oh yeah. So when I do move, like I said, the old layout, I'm not gonna have any turnouts on this section or on this section. In the back over here, you know, the tables are split, so I'm not gonna glue down this section of track. Everything else will be permanent, but where it's going to come apart, not glue anything down back here on the hidden. And just as much as possible right in this section, you know, like have just 1 piece of track on the seam. And then again, over here, just have 1 piece of track on the seam. So whatever stays here in the middle, just have to reconnect just this piece. No turnouts, no yard. You know, I can always move buildings and relocate them because there's gonna be scenics, slide them back in place. So that's what I was getting at, was pulling it apart. Scenery can always be redone. Track work is the biggest pain, electrical conductivity. I don't know. A lot of people have been asking me more questions as of late. I've gotten a lot of subscribers. I appreciate all of you, and in the groups and everything. I'm happy to help. I don't consider myself an expert, but a lot of people have been saying very, very kind and humbling things. And it honestly, in a non-douchebag way, makes me feel like I've earned my keep and progressed in the hobby. And I've learned from so many of you, and it's very rewarding, to put it bluntly, that I believe and have been told people are learning and taking inspiration and ideas from me. It's the ultimate way to give back to the hobby, is to make videos and to engage in the conversations. I do moderate my own group on Facebook. It's called Global. It's a really long title, so I might butcher it, but just type in Global HO N-Scale Model Railroading Headquarters. Start with Global Model Railroading HO and you'll find it. That's my group. There's no ridiculous rules. Just don't talk politics or be an asshole. So everybody in there, you know, holla at your boys, subscribe. That's kind of it, I guess. I appreciate all of you. I'll be back sooner than later. I got a ton of foam. I'm gonna do my mountain stuff and get that all out of the way now. Figure out where stuff's gonna go, and yeah, so. All right, that's all I got. I don't know. What else do I gotta say? Oh, there's some wall board compound. That's interesting. So, okay, I'm kidding. All right, well, the train main, like I said, please subscribe. Hit me up in any of the groups. If you want to be invited to my group, just find me on Facebook or in the groups and I'll invite you. Tips or tricks, Tony Hawk style, and hit me up, let me know. So I appreciate all of you. See something you like, let me know. Something you don't like, let me know. Want to know something, questions, ask me. If not, forever hold your peace, but I hope we get in contact. And all right, the train main.